Hello, welcome. We're actually going to do something a little bit different for this episode. Because my camera is dead. It doesn't want to do video anymore. I tried swapping the batteries. Unfortunately, this is where we're at. So, if I can't make more content, then I have to at least, put out a little closer, basically kind of put in the work and say, hey, this is what I've done so far. This is where we've come in the past. So let's get into video actually moving. Yeah. So I'm gonna start up and see how this goes. All right. the So this is the top of the hill going into the boop. So this is very stuttery. I am maybe gonna flip to the next episode but this is when I was really active, really like cutting everything down. Even I'm just like, wait, why is this so blurry? There we go. We've got motion. So, yeah, in early spring or late fall, this space looks very different because it's not so grown in. Creek is flooded here. Obviously, it is not currently. um, I don't know. Maybe this is not the best way to look at this because it's apples and oranges right now. So let's. So it still just says a year ago. All right, so let's get to a little bit further in. Or maybe a little bit more into where I'm at. I still can't see. Okay, this was April, so I've got to go very much further. Okay, so this should be May, June, July. All right. So this is July. Boop. All right. Last August one. All right. So this is where we were at last year. Yeah. Maybe? Okay. So this is a very similar opening. This is exactly where I'd like to start. So, at this point, I'm not even going down that way. I'm still coming around and going this way. And this is still pretty similar. I've not managed the knotweed as well this year. These paths are not as defined this year. I've truly let things kind of get back to a state of disrepair. I added the bridge there. I don't know, maybe going back and just getting into the roots of why I was doing this to begin with. We also have drought here at this point. The creek was still flowing this way and hadn't flooded through. Got our mints still thriving. But to differentiate, even at this point, I am going through the creek bed instead of coming through from this side. So we still kind of get the same setup position. This is a little bit more overgrown this year, but still very similar. So I definitely like brush chopped recently, and that's where my other mouse is going. A couple of the trees that were on the right hadn't fallen yet, so there is that I need to take care of still, but got our elderberries being ripe, which is also appropriate, and what's going on right now. There's a whole big amount right here. Still haven't found a great use for them. I need to maybe consider drying them and crushing them into a powder. I think that could be good. Nice way to preserve. Figure it out, I guess. So, press on. This is still very much the same. This section is still very much the same. It's really interesting to like look at the similarities, considering and consider, I guess, not considering that the work that I've done, specifically like over here, like how much of it is taking care of new growth, taking care of stuff that I become more aware of is an issue. I just completely cleared this whole thing out. This whole space gets cleared out. I kind of clean up this area a little bit better going forward. Like we've still got our wood pile here, but I think it's a little bit nicer to navigate. Maybe not. This is definitely more tread in the past. Because I was working on it. I was more involved. It's amazing how depression works. And when you're well medicated, and beyond that, not having to care for anyone or anything else. So, as y'all know, I've been taking care of my cat, and it's taken a lot of time, taken a lot of effort. I put a lot of effort into it. But she hurt her hock and has been limping around. And today, the first day she's like truly feeling a lot better, she gets into a fight with Barnadette, and I have to figure out what I'm doing about that. So it looked like she was the aggressor even. So I've been focusing more closely to the house. I've been neglecting this project as a whole. So it's probably a good time to bookend this. It's unfortunate. I'd like to do more, but without the actual video, it's not exactly helpful to say, like, I've done this or that or the other thing. Like, it doesn't show as well. I suppose I could take pictures and, like, give y'all a PowerPoint presentation, but I think YouTube has well moved past that being even an option. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with my Wednesdays. I'm currently playing Path and trying to work through that game. See about what the fuss is about. Because as cool as I understand the interactions can be, there... any game with a ton of homework is really rough to get into. So, I was thinking about that concept with Yu-Gi-Oh! Today, and it translates to this Backwoods stuff too. So, like, any hobby where you have to do homework to figure out what the best way to do it so you can actually participate and enjoy and not cause harm is tricky. It's hard to get into, hard to stay into. It's easy to pick back up for the most part if you step away, though. So I'm not saying this is the last video ever I'm going to do for Backyard Progression, or Backwoods Progression now, but I am saying that I need a new camera video that works. I'd been using these little, like, GoPro-esque cams from AliExpress or Wish or whatever was popular at the time. And they're just not great. This one got the job done for years. It was really good, but I will have to wait until I have income to have a better situation for the future. Hopefully, I stick with it. Maybe removing the restriction of having to go live Wednesday mornings and, like, take this walk, do this whole thing. Maybe that will encourage me to do more with that. But I'm in a weird place with all of my creative content right now. It's hard to see where I'm going. There are a lot of channels that do one thing and they do it over and over and over again. It's interesting in some ways, and that's kind of what this was for me. It's the same thing, but you see a progression. You see how getting more involved, getting more active with a certain effect goes. One of the more interesting things in taking this walk is seeing just how tamer the foliage is this year than the current year. I mean, I did take a brush chopper to a lot of this, or weed whacker, whatever the term, but even still, like, it's going to be a horrible winter this year. We are set up to have one of the worst winters in memory. You can kind of tell that because of all of the plants going a little wild. They're producing a lot of fruit. They're producing really impressive fruit. And that's not good. Like, it's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is good to have fruit and have good vegetation that is growing well. The bad is that it's in preparation for winter. It's gonna be bad. There's not a lot we can do about it but prepare. But this is a snapshot from a year ago, and let's set up this year, this current day and age. This was last week, unfortunately. That's what we get. Like I had said many times already, we don't have new footage, but you do get to see how a year has affected things. A lot of the new growth is the most surprising bit. Like, I have done wonders on specific areas, and it really shows, but I have not done well in managing the knotweed this year. So this is all very aggressive here. You can even just see some of the base plants are a lot higher than they were last year. Creek's still, you know, droughted out, so not a lot to see there. We're gonna skip ahead a little bit to the creek again. Alright, so this is just coming out of the creek, and we get this space. Not a whole lot's changed here. I don't take that right here, but otherwise this is all pretty much the same. I do upkeep, as you can see, to try to like keep it nice, but for the most part we are working to maintain more than we are for progress, it seems. And that sucks. Working to maintain is one of the worst feeling style jobs. It's doing the dishes, doing laundry, you're maintaining clean area in hope. But there's always going to be more dishes, there's always going to be more laundry. So that's what's hard, you know? So there's always going to be more plants growing and more work to do. And I suppose it's a bit of a defeatist attitude to think like, well, the change that I'm making is not having a big enough impact for me to feel rewarded in the same way where I was feeling rewarded getting an area space cleaned and worked out. I don't know. I can't help but wonder what I could do. What's more I could be doing to make this space better? Sorry, I'm still very worried about my cat. After said fight, she hasn't let me look at her properly. So I'm just waiting for her to come in. I'm really worried. It's not every day you get in a fight with a wildcat. And go on the aggressive. But I suppose I too have to be aggressive, go into this fight, actively see what I'm looking for, what I'm doing in these spaces, what's left. Because for the most part, I appreciate comments on the YouTube and in my Twitch. I've had some very big supporters of these projects, so it has helped keep me interested, keep me active in doing these things. Maybe I should change my goal from new emotes to new camera. That might be the way to play it. Put it on my throne, do all that jazz. See if I can't kind of get people interested in continuing the series. Because I'd like to keep doing it. I'm gonna try to keep up the backyard anyway. And having these videos has really... It's a little bit like I was saying earlier, when you can look back on your gameplay, on different things you're doing and you're trying to get better at, you can properly see where you're making mistakes, what you're neglecting, and it was really big for when I was playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a need to understand where you're not making plays where you could. And in here, I think I'm choosing to not play a lot more than I am with the upkeep, which is unfortunate, but it's a choice, and I have to keep that in mind. So come this fall, I can do more in the fall and spring to kind of prepare for this overgrowth of summer. Hopefully, with the kindness of everybody involved, I might have a new phone, or new camera worthy of going through this by winter, so you can see just how devastating this winter is going to be. I am mildly freaked out by it, but our apple trees are going nuts. It looks cartoonish. They are so bright, so red. The grapes are already ripe. That wasn't supposed to happen for another 2 weeks. Like, well into September is when grapes truly get ripe in this area. And it's concerning. I feel like we're gonna have another October storm, or maybe even earlier. We're just gonna get dumped on. It's gonna be bad. 2 years ago, no, it was just last year, I guess, we had that really heavy snow that broke a lot of branches, broke a lot of trees. So to think that this winter's gonna be worse than that, even, it's chilling. Pun intended. So, got that to look forward to. I'm gonna maybe make use of my Discord a little bit more and have a little bit more in those channels where I show off some of the stuff I'm doing, little projects. Try try to get back into before pictures, because that was the origin of the series, is I'm bad at before pictures. So if I constantly show stuff, then it's all a before picture. It's so wild how little changed. I can't get over it. It's for all the effort that gets put in. There's only so much we can do to fight nature. And I suppose I'm not truly even trying to fight nature anymore. I'm more just trying to keep the space movable, to work through what we have and not mess with the oxygen index, because we've got a lot of green. Let's hope it stays important. I always assume at some point in my life that having a space like this is going to be needed. We need more oxygen farms, as it were, such that we care about our air. If COVID proved anything, with a little bit of effort, we can fix our air and do better. There's more that we can be doing, more that we should be doing. It's rough. So, I appreciate everyone who's taken this journey with me. I appreciate all the effort that I put in to get this stuff done. I think it's a neat project. I think there's more I can do with it. And hopefully, I get there. Maybe taking this kind of pause will be good to reinvigorate what needs to change, what could be better, what I could be doing to appeal to a wider audience. But for now, this is where it ends. So I appreciate everyone involved. So I hope everyone works on themselves, grows, sees their mistakes, learns how they can change them, is flexible like so many of these plants, overcomes the adversity of the situations we're given. So, till next time, folks, hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. For those in Twitch, I'm going to be playing a little bit of Path of Exile, but it'll be after a short